Have you ever been hurt so deeply that forgiving the person who caused that pain felt completely impossible? Maybe it's something that still lingers inside you, like a shadow that darkens your days. Maybe you replay that moment over and over in your mind, wishing things had gone differently or that the person had treated you better. If you've ever felt this way, you're not alone. And this book, Forgiving What You Can't Forget by Lysa TerKeurst, is here to help you understand why forgiveness feels so difficult and, more importantly, how you can begin to find peace. Lysa TerKeurst herself knows this struggle deeply. She's not just an author writing from theory. She's someone who's walked through the storm of betrayal, deep hurt, and the complex emotions that come with trying to forgive when the wound feels fresh and raw. Her personal journey is a powerful reminder that forgiveness isn't about forgetting or pretending the hurt didn't happen. It's about choosing freedom from the heavy chains of anger, resentment, and bitterness that hold us captive. Think about a time when someone close to you let you down. Maybe it was a friend who cancelled plans last minute repeatedly, a family member who said something hurtful, or even a partner who broke your trust. It's easy to stew in anger or resentment, right? You might find yourself asking, why should I forgive when they haven't even apologized? Or maybe you worry that forgiving means you're saying it's okay that you were hurt. These are normal thoughts, but they often keep us stuck in pain. Imagine Sarah, a woman whose best friend betrayed her trust by sharing private information with others. Sarah felt devastated and angry, unable to trust again. For months, she replayed the betrayal in her head, feeling bitterness grow each day. But then Sarah made a choice, not to forget what happened or pretend it didn't hurt, but to stop letting that pain control her life. She began the slow, difficult process of forgiveness, not for her friend but for herself, to reclaim her peace and joy. This is what Lysa teaches. Forgiveness is ultimately for you, not the person who hurt you. It's about releasing yourself from the prison of pain and choosing peace instead. And that choice is often the hardest part, because forgiveness doesn't erase what happened. It doesn't mean you have to reconcile or forget. Instead, it's about making a powerful decision to stop giving your pain the power to define your future. If you've ever felt trapped by your own hurt, this book offers a path out. And if you stick with me through this video, you'll learn how to start taking steps toward that freedom, even when it feels impossible. Don't scroll away now, because if you stop here, you might miss the first powerful insight that can change how you think about forgiveness forever. So, are you ready to explore what forgiveness really means and how it can transform your life? Let's take this journey together. Let's pause for a moment and ask, what do you think forgiveness really means? Is it about forgetting, or about making things right again? These questions might seem simple, but the truth is, many of us carry the wrong ideas about forgiveness. Ideas that actually keep us stuck in pain longer than we need to be. Lysa TerKeurst breaks down some of the biggest myths about forgiveness that often trip us up. The first myth is that forgiveness means excusing the hurtful behavior. Think about that for a second. How often have you felt that forgiving someone meant you were letting them off the hook? Maybe you've thought, if I forgive, I'm saying what they did was okay. But that's just not true. Forgiveness is not about condoning bad behavior. It's about freeing yourself from the weight of that hurt. Here's a real example. John had a boss who constantly criticized and belittled him at work. John felt humiliated and angry, but he also knew holding on to that anger was draining him. He worried that forgiving his boss meant he was weak or accepting poor treatment. But what he learned through his forgiveness journey was that forgiving didn't mean forgetting or accepting abuse. It meant reclaiming his own peace, choosing not to let that anger control his life anymore. Another myth Lysa highlights is that forgiveness requires reconciliation. Many of us believe that if we forgive, we have to rebuild a relationship. But that's simply not the case. Forgiveness is a personal process. It's about releasing your own heart from bitterness. Sometimes the best choice is forgiveness without reconciliation, especially if the other person hasn't changed or isn't safe to be around. Think about a friend who hurt you deeply and then disappeared from your life. You might never speak again, but forgiving them can still heal your heart. It's like carrying a heavy backpack uphill. Forgiveness is setting that backpack down, not necessarily walking back with the person who hurt you. And here's a big one. Some people think forgiveness is a one-time event, that one big moment when suddenly everything is okay. But anyone who struggled with forgiveness knows it's not like flicking a switch. It's a journey, sometimes 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Lysa calls it a daily choice, something you might have to choose again and again. If you're feeling stuck because you believe forgiveness has to be perfect or complete right away, no, that's not true. The struggle itself is part of the process. Don't rush yourself, and don't let these myths tell you that you're failing. If you've made it this far, you're already taking a powerful step forward. Keep listening, because coming up next is where the real transformation begins. Understanding how the stories we tell ourselves keep us locked in unforgiveness, and how changing those stories can open the door to healing. Stay with me. This is the part you don't want to miss. Have you ever noticed how sometimes our minds just won't let go? How we keep replaying the same painful moments in our heads, like a broken record stuck on the worst track. Maybe it's a harsh word someone said, a betrayal you can't forget, or a moment when everything changed, and no matter how hard you try, those memories keep flooding back, dragging you down again and again. Lysa TerKeurst calls this the cycle of unforgiveness. It's a vicious loop where our pain becomes our identity. We start defining ourselves by what happened to us, by the hurt and betrayal we endured. And the harder we hold on to those memories, the more power they have over our emotions, our relationships, and even our future. Imagine Emily, a woman who was deeply hurt by a close friend's betrayal. Every time she thought about what happened, her chest tightened, her stomach churned, and she found herself slipping back into anger and sadness. It wasn't just a memory, it became a constant replay in her mind, like a story she told herself over and over, and the story was keeping her stuck. Here's where Lysa offers something really powerful, the idea that you can begin to rewrite that story. Not to erase the truth of what happened, but to change the meaning you give it, and the role it plays in your life. She shares how journaling became a tool for her, and for many others, to pour out the pain, to name the emotions, and to confront the hurt honestly. Writing down what you feel, without holding back, is like taking the memories out of your head and putting them on paper, where they can be examined, understood, and eventually released. For example, when Emily started writing her story, she realized she had been carrying not just anger, but also shame and self-blame. Putting these feelings into words helped her see them clearly and start to separate her identity from the pain she'd been holding on to. She began to say to herself, "This happened to me, but it doesn't have to define me." This is such an important step because forgiveness isn't about pretending the hurt didn't happen or forcing yourself to feel something you don't. It's about shifting your relationship with the pain so it no longer controls you. Now let me ask you, have you ever wondered why some wounds just won't heal? Why the same memories keep pulling you back into pain? If you're feeling stuck, you're about to discover the reason behind it and the key to breaking free. Keep listening. This insight could change everything. What story are you telling yourself about your hurt? Are you trapped in a loop, replaying the same moments over and over? Imagine what life could look like if you gave yourself permission to rewrite that narrative. You don't want to miss what's coming next. It's the turning point. Hold on tight, because this next part dives into something many people avoid: really feeling your emotions. But trust me, it's not what you think. This could be the breakthrough you've been waiting for. If you think forgiveness means ignoring your feelings, think again. The truth is far more freeing, and it might just surprise you. Stay with me. Let's be honest for a moment. When you think about forgiveness, what emotions come to mind? Do you feel pressure to just get over it quickly? Or maybe you believe you should push away the anger and pain, pretending they don't exist. If so, you're definitely not alone. Lysa TerKeurst emphasizes that embracing your emotions fully is actually a vital part of the forgiveness journey. That might sound counterintuitive, right? We often hear advice like forgive and forget, or let go of the past. But what does that really mean if we're supposed to ignore our feelings? Here's the truth. Healing starts when you stop running from your feelings and instead welcome them with open arms. It's okay to feel angry, sad, betrayed, or confused. These emotions are signals, messages from your heart and mind that need to be heard and understood. Pretending they aren't there doesn't make them disappear. It just buries them deeper, where they can fester and cause more pain over time. Think about Sarah, who struggled for years to forgive her father after a painful childhood. She tried to push away her anger because she thought it was wrong or unhealthy. But every time she bottled up those feelings, they came back as anxiety and bitterness, affecting her relationships and self-worth. When Sarah finally allowed herself to feel her emotions fully without judgment, she began to experience real breakthroughs in her healing. Now I want to ask yourself, are you holding on to any emotions right now that you've been avoiding? What if the key to freeing yourself lies in embracing those feelings instead of fighting them? If you're tempted to skip ahead or think this is just another step you can rush through, don't. This is where many people get stuck or give up. Lean into this part. It's where you start to untangle the knots of pain. Lysa offers practical ways to safely explore your emotions, like journaling, prayer, or talking with a trusted friend or counselor. She reminds us that vulnerability is not weakness, it's courage. Real courage. Here's something powerful. Forgiveness isn't about forgetting your pain, it's about befriending your pain so it loses its power to control you. And that begins with feeling it deeply. Imagine what your life could look like if you didn't have to carry the heavy weight of suppressed emotions anymore. How much lighter would your heart feel? Stay with me, because next, we'll dive into how setting healthy boundaries plays a critical role in forgiveness. Yes, forgiveness and boundaries do go hand in hand. Don't miss it. This insight can protect your peace for years to come. Have you ever wondered if forgiveness means you have to let people back into your life exactly as they were before? Or if it means you have to accept the same hurtful behavior over and over again? These are really important questions because many people think forgiveness equals unlimited access. But that couldn't be further from the truth. Lysa TerKeurst makes it clear that setting healthy boundaries is not only okay, it's essential to true forgiveness. Boundaries protect your heart. They don't block forgiveness. Instead, they create a safe space where healing can happen. Imagine this. Rachel forgave her ex-husband for betrayal, but she didn't open the door to letting him hurt her again. She established clear boundaries for herself, deciding what she would and wouldn't accept. Forgiveness freed her from bitterness, but boundaries kept her safe and respected. If you think forgiveness means saying yes to everything or staying in toxic situations, stop right there. That's a dangerous myth that keeps people trapped in pain. Here's something powerful: when you set boundaries, you're actually honoring yourself and the very forgiveness process. It's a statement: I value my peace and well-being. So ask yourself, are you protecting your heart, or are old wounds still open because you haven't set clear limits? This reflection could be the turning point you need. Don't rush past this part. This is where many people get it wrong, and your awareness here can save you years of heartbreak. Coming up next, we'll explore the incredible freedom that comes when you let go of bitterness and reclaim your joy. Trust me, this is where you start living again. Let me ask you something. How much space is bitterness taking up in your life right now? Bitterness can sneak in quietly, like a shadow, coloring everything with a dark, heavy tint. It's exhausting, isn't it? It drains your energy, steals your peace, and clouds your perspective. Lysa TerKeurst speaks directly to this pain because bitterness is one of the hardest emotions to release. It's a natural reaction when you've been deeply hurt. But here's the tough truth. Holding on to bitterness only keeps you chained to your past. You might think, if I let go of this bitterness, won't that mean I'm forgetting what happened or letting the person off the hook? That's a common fear, and it's important to address it. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting or excusing. It means choosing your own freedom over endless resentment. Think about Marcus, who carried anger toward his brother for years after a painful betrayal. That anger kept him tied to the past, unable to fully live in the present. When Marcus finally made the choice to let go of bitterness, it wasn't easy, but it opened the door to healing, peace, and even a new kind of relationship. If you stop now, you'll miss the most powerful insight of the entire book. Forgiveness isn't about the other person, it's about reclaiming your own joy. When you free yourself from bitterness, you give your heart room to breathe again. Ask yourself, what would life look like if you woke up tomorrow without that heavy burden? Can you imagine feeling lighter, more hopeful, even happy again? Don't skip this next part because I'm about to share practical steps to help you move from bitterness into joy. These aren't vague platitudes. They're real, actionable tools that have transformed lives. Keep listening. Your breakthrough moment could be right here, right now. As we come to the close of this journey through forgiving what you can't forget, take a moment to reflect on how far you've come just by listening. Forgiveness isn't a one-time event, it's a path, often winding and challenging, but deeply freeing. Lysa TerKeurst reminds us that forgiveness is not about forgetting the past or excusing the hurt. It's about reclaiming your peace, protecting your heart with healthy boundaries, and embracing your emotions so they don't control you. If you've made it this far, congratulations, you've already taken a powerful step toward healing. This book offers so much more wisdom and guidance to walk you through those tough moments. Don't let this be the end. Dive deeper, keep exploring, and give yourself permission to heal at your own pace. If you found this summary helpful, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with anyone who might need it. The link to the full book is in the description. Trust me, it's worth every page. Before you go, I want you to ask yourself this. What part of your forgiveness journey are you holding on to the tightest? What's one step you can take today to begin releasing that weight? Drop your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Remember, you're not alone on this path. Thank you for listening. And keep moving forward with grace and courage.